You were never hard to love. You were just dealing with people who wanted access to you, but not the responsibility of being your friend. You were not asking for the impossible. You were asking for basic respect. You were asking for basic things like effort, consistency, love, honesty, integrity. And when someone doesn't want to have the responsibility of giving you the basics, they'll make it out like you're the problem. They'll make it out like your needs are a problem. They will call you sensitive. They'll call you needy. They'll call you emotional. They'll call you difficult. Too much. But really, you were noticing what was missing, and that's their lack of effort, lack of consistency, their lack of accountability. And instead of them looking at their actions and looking at themselves, they looked at you. And this is how you start blaming yourself. You start thinking, maybe I said something wrong. Maybe it was the tone that I used. Maybe it was the wrong timing. You start to overplay conversations in your head. Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe I need to be quieter. Maybe I need to be easier. Maybe I'm high maintenance. No, you do not need to change who you are. You do not need to become easier to love. You just need to stop trying to get love from people who are not interested in giving you what you need. They make it out like loving you is work. It feels like a constant audition for their time. You should not have to prove your worth every day of every week. You should not have to beg for basic care. And you should not have to explain yourself over and over again. Truth is, you may be trying to keep a connection alive that is slowly draining you. And a lot of us have done that. You know, we call it patience, we call it love, we call it negotiation, we call it being understanding, being the bigger person. But I realized being the bigger person is a way to train you to abandon yourself. Sometimes you're not being mature, just being silent. Sometimes you're not keeping the peace, you're keeping yourself trapped. And sometimes what you think is forgiving is actually keeping you trapped, and it's keeping the cycle repeated again and again and again. And I know you don't want to hear this, but sometimes you are easier to deal with when you don't have needs. They like it when you listened, when you helped, when you forgave them again and again and again. When you accept less and you keep showing up, this is how they like you, manageable. But the moment you need something back from them, now is a problem. The moment you express your feelings, you're being dramatic. The moment you need effort from them, you're being too demanding. The moment you ask for consistency, now you're asking for too much. This tells you everything. They don't want a real friendship or relationship with you. They want the benefits that come with you. Your time, your energy, your forgiveness, your emotional labor, your softness. And they don't want to give you the same thing back. That's why you're so drained. Not because you're hard to love, because you keep pouring into places that are not pouring back into you. Have you ever tried to be understood by someone who doesn't want to understand you? It's exhausting. Trying to get accountability from people who love to avoid it, exhausting. You were never too much. You were tired, you were drained, you were disappointed, and you were honest with them about being hurt. There's nothing wrong with someone wanting to communicate with you, to give you basic respect. And when you've been given crumbs for so long, basic respect feels like everything. That's why it's important you keep resetting your standards. But minimum effort is not a blessing. And someone's potential to be a good person is not enough to stay in that friendship or that relationship. Remember, potential is who somebody could be, not who they are now. You have to look at today. Do they listen? Do they show up? Do they take accountability? Do they treat you with care? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they make your life feel lighter? Are you always explaining yourself, waiting, hoping they will change? If you're always feeling like you're asking for too much, that matters. And sometimes your body knows before your mind knows that something's not right. Sometimes something feels off. The energy with someone feels off and you can't put your finger on it. Stop calling yourself sensitive because they called you sensitive because they don't want to deal with your issues. Stop allowing people to call you needy when you're emotionally starved. Stop allowing people to call you difficult when you're telling the truth. Stop calling yourself hard to love when that person is not interested in loving you the way you need to be loved. This blame does not belong to you, but the healing does. And this is the part we need to be honest about. We can't control how people treat us, but we can control how much access we give to them. You cannot force people to value you or see the value in you, but you can control how you move, how much access you give to people, how long you stay in a situation. That's the real power. It's not in convincing them, in trying to change them. Power is in choosing you more, choosing your potential more, choosing how you move differently. Your power is leaving the table when respect is not being served. The power is in not begging for basics, just walking away. It's important that you check in with yourself Ask the right questions before making a decision. What is draining? Where am I overgiving? What do I need? What am I ignoring? How can I choose myself today? This is what the worksheet's for. It's free. Just click the link in the description box. Use it when you feel confused, drained. Use it when you're tempted to shrink again. Use it when you need to come back to yourself. Because I don't just want you to listen to these videos and go back to the previous state. I want you to constantly check in with yourself and bring yourself back to choosing yourself. And I want you to choose yourself in real life, in the decisions that you make, in your relationships, in your boundaries, and in your daily habits. So let this be a reminder, you were never too hard to love. You were never asking for too much. You are not the problem because you noticed the problem. You are not dramatic for being hurt. You're not difficult for wanting respect. You are not needy just because you want care. You were trying to get love from people who made love feel painful. And now you get to choose yourself. You get to stop begging, stop shrinking, stop explaining the same thing again and again, because believe me, they understand. Stop giving unlimited access to people who have proven to mishandle you. You get to choose better for yourself. If this video made you realize something, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Choose you today, tomorrow, and forever. For my next video, I'll see you later. Bye.